And away we go. It says, oh, there it is. It says I'm live, but I'm in shadow. Now I'm no longer in shadow. So I am both live and visible, or at least seem to be. Little trouble with this camera, by the way. Not sure if it's the camera or the doohickey thingamajig plug into the computer, which attaches to the camera. But either way, we're doing okay. But that's why I was cutting it really close tonight. But hey, y'all. Lance Chafin is here. He says, hey, Thrash. Hey to you too, Lance. So good to see you again. Oh, and look what else is here. It is Wake Up, Set Your Sights. Wake Up, Set Your Sights. I'm trying to get the swing of it. I'm just going to call you Wake Up. And when Wake Up is here, it says, remnants of gay were worse. Real? I'll take your word for it. Tug is here. He says, hey, Thrash Man. And hey to you too, Tug. Nice to see you again. Wake Up says, sorry, Faye. Oh, remnants of Faye, Hurricane Faye were worse. Yeah, I guess some people in Maine got Hurricane Lee, but it wasn't too bad. And my hearts go out to everybody who was hit. I guess Nova Scotia is a bit of a mess too. Keith Easy says, did you leave the cake out in the rain? No, but someone did. And I don't think I can take it because it took so long to bake it. And I'm sure I would find it greatly difficult to actually find that recipe again. Actually, my father, when I was like 4, took me to an IBM picnic with my mom, who he was still with at the time, and the torrential rain came down. I remember I lost my hot dog. We went back. By the time we got back to the table to get it, I put it down to go play a game. By the time we went back to the table to get it, um, dude, he was trying to be funny, but he goes, "Hey, check this out!" And he squeezed the bun, and water just sort of ran out of it. And I cried and cried and cried because it was a really good hot dog. But I found the inner strength to carry on. Gary Carpenter is here and he says, I'm here, which covers that. Superplex is here and he says, good evening. Good evening to you, Superplex. Oh, by the way, I decided I split tonight's up. Tonight's trivia game is going to be split into 2 groups. One half is going to be baseball trivia for you. I hope you like the Red Sox. The other half, in the spirit of all the things Danny's done for my channel, I did another half on cryptids. But more about that later. Tug says, hey, Linz, and Gary Cooper, and I'm sorry, Gary Cooper, Gary Carpenter, and Zuper, Gary Zuper. Anyway, hi to a bunch of people. Tab is here. He says, hello, Mr. Thrash. Sorry I missed your recent coverage of Hurricane Lee. It's quite all right. Sorry you couldn't make it, but there really wasn't much to tell. Indy Spouts is here and says, just when I thought my hatred for MacArthur Park couldn't plummet, I'm guessing that is, to new depths. Well, oh no, I can always bring it down a notch or 2. Dominic D is here and he says, hey, Bob, hey, everyone. Dominic D, so great to see you as well. And Dennis Caton is here and says, greetings from South Carolina. Keith E says, hello, all Surrey is a bit out of control tonight, so I'm just going to be lurking. Quite all right, Keith. So glad you were here. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because you sent me a question, and I must confess, on I think it was on Facebook or something. But anyway, I had a difficulty in deciphering it, so I apologize. But glad you're here. Also, Tom of the 100 Jerk is here. He'll be just sort of like listening in the wings. Ken Wilkinson is here. He says hello. Oh, good evening. I should say to Bob. Good evening to you as well. Dennis Gates says, I have arrived. Yes. That reminds me of the old spitting image bit when Leonard Nimoy, who was trying to tamper with the Oscars, and then he comes in late because it took him a while to finish putting the fake ballots. He goes, I have just arrived. I have not been doing anything suspicious in the back alley with a bat because I have just arrived. Dan, the breaking news man, is here. And again, I'm just going to call you Dan. Says, I have arrived. And I'm not going to do that whole bit again, but yes, you have arrived. Indy Spout says, hey there, lads. Aye, laddie. Good to have you with us. A lot of people having fellowship. Tracy is here. Says hello, everyone. Tracy, I can't thank you. So she was singing huge props to me on her earlier live chat tonight, and I just want to say thank you so much. You are amazing. Oh, and an NCD question. I do live in a split level. But my mother, Mama Thrash, she actually lives in the lower level. We call it her reverse loft. Yes, she lives in what would be the downstairs common area, but it's not common because we put her in it. And my mother's many things, but she is not common. Tab says it sucks that the late great Peter Scolari was overshadowed by a certain bosom buddies co-star throughout his entire career. If you know, you know. Tom Hanks is a great actor, but I got to tell you, I must confess, during the run of Bosom Buddies, I always thought Peter Scalaria was the funnier of the two of them, and perhaps that was it. Peter Scalaria got all the yucks, but Tom Hanks was the straight man, and straight men are usually the ones who have more long-lasting careers, and I'm not entirely sure why. But anyway, I could actually do a whole show about that. But yes, Peter Scolari was great in Bosom Buddies. Didn't like him so much in Newhart. I thought he was kind of his character was a one trick pony, and he had so much more range than that. I understand where they were going, and I understand why he had to act like that sort of that we all know club we type people we get down here on Cape Cod. But Danny has given us a link. Thank you, Danny. Yes, Danny, please give links to what you have, like 7 or 80 channels now, and to Tracy. And thank you very much. Wake Up says Peter made a lot of money in Newhart. Yeah, he certainly did. He certainly did. Daryl Johnson says, Bob, other brother Daryl, how you doing? Oh no, it was a very lucrative long-term job for him. That much I'll give him. Indy Spoke says Terrell Eugene Bellinger. Technically, he was later overshadowed by Julia Duffy too. Let's not forget Tom Poston now. A lot of people saying hi to everyone else. Dan says Peter was on an episode of Touched by an Angel. He was great in that episode. I never saw that episode. I'm sure my wife did. Gary Cameron says, weren't no Laurel and Hardy. I'll give you that much. Tracy says, thank you for the link. Kenneth Wilkinson says, Billy Miller, who used to be on Young and the Restless, passed away. Oh, I'm very sorry. Emily Miller says, hey, y'all. Hey to you too, Emily. So good to see you. Dominic D says, I thought Scolari and Julia Duffy were a great comedy team on Newhart. All right, I will grant you that. They played very well off each other as that sort of New England old money power couple. I will grant you. And Wake Up says Peter was in a movie with Doc Brown and Biff. Also, you may or may not know this. Tom Hanks' eventual wife, Rita, did an episode of Bosom Buddies. She actually played a woman they tried to set Peter Scolari's character up with, who turned out to be a devil worshiper. He spells says I prefer Touched by an Anvil. There's a dad joke in there somewhere. I'm going to work on it. Tug says, hello to everyone I missed. I was away from keyboard for a couple of minuets. No worries. I had to duck out for a while myself, actually, on Tracy's channel. Anyway, any amount of time you can provide us with is well set. Oh, your PC. My PC needs something. I just got a message. My PC is going to be acting funny. It recommended a restart. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just letting you guys know. Me and my technical problems. If for some reason everything just goes bleh, give me a couple of minutes and I'll restart and start again. But I'm going to try to keep broadcasting as long as I can. But just if something goes awry, you'll know who the catcher is. Emily Miller says you were 11 p.m. the other night was way past my bedtime. Sorry I missed it. Emily, no problem. I hope you watched it in replay. I had to wait for the hurricane, though. The entire point was lost. Michael's Drones and RC says, Thrash Pondo, hello. Michael, so good to see you. Love your content, by the way. Danny, please give Michael, for Michael's Drones and RC's, a link, by the way. He puts out some great stuff. Mine too, Ken says. Super says, Rita Wilson appeared in The Kids from Caper. Which episode? I love the kids from Caper. Robert Ridgely did an episode of that, one of their best episodes, Phantom of the Drive-In or something. We're the kids, we're the kids, we're the kids from Caper. We'll race to your place on a case every time. We're the kids, and I'm sorry. Daryl Johnson says, "Hey, Mitch." Emily Miller says, I couldn't stomach touched by an angel. I loved Highway to Heaven though. Oh, and Miss Tracy says it was past her bedtime as well. Cancel as well. I did that thing where I accidentally almost reported something, but I hit cancel. So here we go. Anyway, Tug says, and Bonzo. Oh yes, bedtime for Bonzo. You know, I've never actually seen it. I've seen many, many, many Reagan movies. I have not seen that one. One of my favorites, that was the World War II movie he made with Errol Flynn, with Raymond Massey as the nasty German POW camp commandant. Dominic D says, I remember Kids from Caper Saturday morning show. Yeah, that was when some of the networks were trying to go live action with their kids programming. Big John, Little John, the Ghost Dog, and that type of thing. Gary Carpenter says, message retracted. Message deleted by Tracy's fractured history and more. View deleted message. Not sure what happened there, but moving forward. Tracy says, Kenneth Wilkinson, I know, pretty sad. He says, I hope it goes berserk before the cryptid quiz. Ellen Michael saying thank you. Lynn Stevens says, Tracy, what did Gary Carpenter say? Well, that would defeat the whole porpoise, would it not? Teb says, Valerie Harper made a big comeback 8 years after Rhoda ended with her self-titled NBC sitcom, only to be let go after producers rejected her demands for more money. I know she got fired from her own show. That was sad. Emily Miller says, what would be tragic, Zuper? So tragic. Oh, would it be tragic if we couldn't do my quiz tonight? Oh, she says, Gary, I am so sorry. Oh, I'm guessing it was, whatever it was done by mistake. So I'm guessing no hurt feelings, and we will continue to move forward. John Doe is here. Says, I am here. John, I'm so glad you said you were going to be here, and I was hoping you're here, and I'm happy you're here. So good to see you. Welcome to the party, man. So Luke says, I'll have to look it up, but it was one of the earliest appearances on television. Her earliest appearances on television. I believe her first appearance on television, I believe, and we're talking, of course, Rita Hanks. I believe it was in an episode of Brady Bunch. It was the one where Marcia is trying to fill a spot on the cheerleading squad, and she has this very hot rival who is flirting with Greg to try to get him to swing his decision because he's one of the judges, and Rita played the cheerleader. And Gary Garber says, Tracy, sorry for what? Gary, apparently she inadvertently deleted one of your messages. And is sorry about it. Michael Jones says, everyone, please do not forget to smash that like button. Well stated. Thank you. Emily Miller says, BRB. Yep. And Tracy explains, accidentally removed. And Gary says, oh, no worries, Tracy. I was going to say, of all people, I can't think of anything Gary said that was offensive. But hey, I almost removed something from the content myself, actually. Because, see, when I scroll like this, when I'm trying to catch up, in fact, I think I just built, no, I didn't actually. When I scroll the comments so I can stay current, if I hit too close to those little three dots at the edge, it says report, cancel, block, send to the land of Nod. And if I don't carefully get out of that, it tries to bounce someone. Brogu was here, says hello, everyone. Brogu is here. So, by the way, so that if it does happen to you, don't take it personal. But Brogu, it's so good to see you. A lot of people saying hi to Brogu. Dano. Book him, Dano. Dano is giving more links. Dominic D says, Eddie McClure was very funny on the Valerie Harper / Sandy Duncan show. I think Willard Scott played her husband. Yeah, Edie McClure. She was the receptionist in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Who says you're? Yes, and yes, he did play her husband. Daryl's like, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Lance says 11 likes, 20 in here. 17 now. Was it something I said? And but we're up to 13. Tracy says, I am such a duh. You are not a duh. Indy's Belt says, I was away from keyboard. What's the topic? Baba Louie. Louie. I split it up. And to satisfy Zuper's long-term request, half the questions tonight are going to be baseball related. The other half, as my way of thanking Danny for all the massive things he's been doing for my channel. I am doing half of them on cryptids. And I even have a couple little bonuses. So everyone should do very, very well tonight. John Doe says, I was watching something, but I can't remember what it was for the life of me. I had just finished watching it. So that happens to me all the time. Well, if you think of it, or if you can give us some clues, I'll try to help flesh it out. Brogue was saying hello to everyone. Terrell Eugene Bellinger says, Tom Hanks, Peter Scolari, Rita Wilson had all guest starred on Happy Days during its final seasons. Post Richie era. Yes, you are right. Tom Hanks actually fights the Fonzie. He plays one of those self-proclaimed karate experts. And do any of you remember Mazes and Monsters? If you do, let me know in the comments below. Dan says, Google update, you are correct, T-Pawns, 1972 episode of The Brady Bunch. And so that was her first. I was going to say, because she would have been very young in 72. I'm guessing she could have even still been in her teens. Baruga says, hi, Terrell and Dan. Danny Staten says, yep. David is here. David says, hey, good to see you, David. Gary Carpenter just jumped off the page. I hate it when I do that. Oh, my God. Oh, here it is. Gary Carpenter says, I was trying to watch Dr. Sardonicus. That movie has come up like 4 or 5 times. Was it on Sundance Fanguli or something? Because there had been a lot of buzz about Dr. Sardonicus, which I have not seen in decades. I've got to dig it up. Tug says, I feel duh at least 4 times a day. Yes, but how many times do you think of the Roman Empire? And let's just see here. Danny goes, oh boy. And Lance is going to BRB. And Teresa says, anybody out here know what ASMR means? A summer memory, romantic in nature. I don't know. It's the best I can know. It's at short notice. David says, am just good ship lollipop today. On the good ship. Lollipop. It's a sweet superplex. Jumped off the page, but don't worry. I'm going to... here we are. You know what? She's not credited on IMDb. Well, the fascists. Oh, look who's here. House of Alex is here. Hey, House of Alex. Great to have you back with us. So good to see you. Ken Wilkinson says you should do figure skating trivia. About figure skating? All the questions would be either Brian Bontano, or Chris Yamaguchi. I had a crush on Chris Yamaguchi. So that'd be 2. Tug says, autonomous sensory meridian response. Wow. Or William Newspeak, if I ever heard it. A lot of people saying hello to each other. Geek says, I don't even know why I know that, Tracy. And Tracy laughs. Tom is saying, hi, guys. I'm guessing he's on some kind of break. Zublick says Rita Wilson was definitely on that show, though. Oh, yes, I remember. They talked about it on some show I was watching. W.D. says, another one of Tom Hanks' early roles was Alex Keaton's uncle on an episode of Family Ties. He did at least 2 episodes. One where you find out he's an alcoholic, and another one where he gets arrested for doing something with his company. His company's doing something illegal. He took the moral high ground, but it got him busted as well. But yes, he was on Family Ties. Daryl Gunn says autonomous sensory meridian response. Indy says you could do a question about the Boone Bigfoots from the Coastal Plain League for both categories. Ooh. Someone came to play, huh, gang? And only 257 just jumped off the page. Says Gary. 257, welcome to the party. House of Alex says, sorry, my shifts haven't matched up with the live chats recently. No worries, I'm glad you made it. Daryl Johnson says, cheerleader movies. Satan's cheerleaders, for one, say. Some prison movies are pretty good too. Although I don't want to sound like a dirty old man. 257 give us some great emojis and great emojis back to you. David says Shirley Temple living. No, Shirley Temple died some time ago. She was married. She was married to that guy who did all those sci-fi movies. And I'm so embarrassed I can't think of his name right now. But he was in Creature of the Black Lagoon and Attack of the Mole People. One of you guys will know it, I'm sure. But moving forward, Dan says Rita Wilson is good on Now and Then with Rosie O'Donnell, Demi Moore, and Trivia, who was the other actress in the movie. I'm going to say Phoebe Cates. And Teb says Melanie Griffiths was underage when she married Don Johnson the first time. Problematic by today's standards. I honestly didn't know that. I believe you, but I didn't know it. Zubelik says, it is true Tom Hanks eats babies? No, it's not. Tug says, everything is problematic by today's standards. Well stated. Danny Staten says, in the 2012 film just titled Bigfoot has some of the stars from the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family, Barry Williams, Danny Bonaducci, and Alice Cooper. LOL. Alice Cooper was on Brady Bunch and Partridge Family? Cool. I saw him on Muppet Show. He was hysterical. Gary Cameron says, Teb, Elvira was underage when she first did Las Vegas. Yeah, she was a showgirl too. Indy Spout says, I think of the Roman Empire almost daily, but then I think of everything almost daily. Ah, well said. No, my wife was on some. Remember the other day, someone asked me how often I thought of the Roman Empire, and I said, well, since I'm a history buff, quite often. The next day, Mrs. Thrash asked me, and I was like, ah! I had a pod people moment. I'm like, they've gotten to you too. And apparently there's this whole thing. You're supposed to ask men how they think of the Roman Empire. And on average, and this goes from people with a PhD in Mediterranean history to high school dropouts, it's 2 to 3 times a day they think of the Roman Empire. And I did ask, and it does, if I Claudius counts, and yes, I Claudius counts as well. David says, John Agar. Thank you, John Agar. Yes. Oh, and a bunch of Indie Spout says John Agar. David says John Agar. A lot of you got John Agar. Thank you. I was thinking Dana for some reason. John Agar is definitely correct. Dominic D says, anybody remember that woman's prison movie with Linda Blair and Sybil Danning, a B movie from the early 80s? No, but it sounds good. Did I ever tell you about the time that I frightened Linda Blair? You have to be a special kind of frightening to frighten Linda Blair. And I'm just going to skip down a lot of people saying hello to each other. Dan says it was Melanie Griffith in that movie. I'm sorry, we started talking about a few different movies. What was the movie that we were talking about? I've forgotten. Tug says, the only Bigfoot movie I like is Harry Anderson's Legend of Boggy Creek, or, well, I don't want to give the game away. Gary Carpenter says, have you ever heard of a show called Accidental Family with Jerry Van Dyke? No, I haven't. I like Jerry Van Dyke, though. Tip says, I've always thought that Philip Michael Thomas was going to be the biggest breakout star of Miami Vice, but Don Johnson completely overshadowed him. Yeah, and I'm not sure why. I think you're right. I think Thomas was a better actor. Zublik says it was either Chained Heat or Red Heat. It was one of those heats. Oh, Chained Heat. Chained Heat, I think is the one you're talking about. Yes, right now I'm with you. And Laughing Editing says, I asked you about the Roman Empire. Thank you. It was you. I knew, one, welcome to the party, Steve. And two, the next day my wife asked me, and she explained to me that that's a thing. But anyway, welcome to the party. Steve. Tug says, it's a meme right now. Yes. Oh, that's my neighbor's dog barking again. Dominic D says there was an old rumor that Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver became Alice Cooper. Of course, it wasn't true. Even he played up on it for a while. I saw him mention that on TV Land or something like that. Tug says there is no Dana, only Zool. Well played. There is no Dana, only Zool. Very well played. Only 257 says Geek Turkish Star Wars. Ah, yes. And Wake Up says, just remember Jackson County Jail with Yvette Milieu from The Time Machine. She was a cutie. Although she too was underage when she started filming The Time Machine. They had to reshoot some of her scenes. I don't know why. It wasn't an adult film, but apparently there was like they did special permission to have minors do certain. I don't know. But anyway, they had to reshoot some of her scenes. 257 says, Pawns ever seen The Cry in the Wilderness? Not off the top of my head. I don't recall that. Daryl John says, well, tell that story, Bob. You want to hear that? Let me catch up first, then I'll tell it, because I'm already getting behind it. I don't want to, but remind me, Linda Blair. Teb says there was an old rumor that Paul Pfeiffer from the Wonder Years became Marilyn Manson. Of course, it also wasn't true. I remember that one as well, by the way. That's more believable, actually. A lot of people sending nice emojis to each other. Dan says, Now and Then was the movie with Melanie Griffiths. Now and Then. Okay. Dave says, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Daryl Jones says, how did you scare Linda Blair? 2 seconds. Once I'm caught up, I will tell the story. I just jumped again. Here we are. Zublik says, then Linda responded with projectile vomit. 2007 says, Father Knows Best. Lance Javis says, does anybody think Ian C is done with YouTube? I hope not. Only 2007 says, Geek the Wizard movie. I like the Wizard movie. Oh, Wizards, not Wizard, about the Power Glove. Indy Spout says, to Tug, many subs and Zools knew what it was to be roasted in the depths of a solar that day. I can tell you, that was a terrible delivery. But moving forward, Lance Jefferson Born Innocent. Zublik says, I'm sorry. 257 says Zuper. Nice. The X's reference. It certainly was. And Zublik says, I think so too, Lance. You might be right. WD says she was spewing pea soup all over. Yes, she was now. Tug says, which Wizard movie? I think that was the one with Christian Slater and Fred Savage about video gaming conventions. Gary Gummer says, I don't think you were born innocent, LOL. And 207 says, Geek 1989 classic movie. Tug says, I've never seen Turkish Star Wars, but I did see the Brendan Tedholt video about it. Oh, yes, he did some great stuff. And David says, can you put some ham and pea soup? I'll take 2 bowls of split pea. No, I blew it tonight. I'll come in again. I'll take 2 bowls of split soup, please. Wake Up says, when someone mentions ENC, it is as Wallet as a theater showing Schindler's List. Wow. Oh, and Lynn says, to Gary Chambers, it's a Linda Blair movie. And Steve says, I wouldn't blame Ian if he did quit YouTube. It's almost impossible to get a channel rolling now. Tell me about it. And Daryl says, I'm not interested now. Oh, please, Daryl, be interested. I just want to catch up with all these questions. We'll skip through. Super says, I loved that song, You Spin Me Right Round. Like a record player, round. Darius going to give us a link. Doug says, I was so pumped when I saw Mario 3. Dan says, breaking news. The T-Pawns catch up, no questions, please. Dan is giving us another link. I'm going to skip down this, still talking about the Wizard. Split pea soup. And ew. And Indy Spout says, Your Honor, you can't split please like that. 2 bowls of split please soup to go, please. I knew someone would get that reference, and I was betting it would be you, Indy. I was betting it would be you. But yes, of course, from Sprinting Crew. Now, I'm going to quickly tell the story of Linda Blair. Okay. As you guys know, I used to work for an old outfit called Suncoast Motion Pictures. We were linked with Sam Goody. This is back when home theater meant something. When Sam Goody sold music, we sold movies. And that was our slogan. At Suncoast, we know movies. They even got Chris Lee to say that on one of our demo tapes. Well, we started having these national conventions right around the turn of the century. And the studios were paying big bucks to get like stars and stuff to come and be guests there because they wanted to promote their new movies. And one of them for Anchor Bay was Linda Blair. Now, I was kind of gushing because I've met some celebrities over the years, but not a lot of them. And this is like a big deal because they're like everywhere. And I get up to Linda Blair. Now, of course, I've loved scary movies my whole life. So I get up to her and I go, I'm your oldest fan. And in the days after Misery, that's kind of unsettling. And I'll never forget, she was signing one of her 8x10 black and white glosses and just kind of looked up and she went, like, oh God, another one. And I'm like, sorry. And we chatted for a minute or two. And it was so funny because I go, I thought you were, I love all your horror movies. And she goes, I only made 3. And this is a little embarrassing. I remembered one she didn't. And I go, oh, and I went, and this, of course. And she's like, oh, yeah, I had forgotten that one. And we had a laugh, and she signed the black and white glossy to me, and I got a picture and then left her alone because I didn't want to continue. But I'm like, wow, I actually scared Linda Blair. Wow. Okay, so guys, thank you for your patience. Sorry it took so long. I'm terrified I'm going to fall too far behind in the comments. So now I'm going to try to catch back up again. And Teb says The Wizard was directed by Todd Holland, known mostly for directing memorable TV shows like Twin Peaks, Larry Sanders Show, Malcolm in the Middle, and co-creating the cult hit Wonderfalls. You've done your homework as always. And 257 says, wake up. Okay. Melissa Foster is here. Says, hi, Thrash, Pondo, and everyone. Sorry that I'm late. Melissa, you are never late. You are right on time. We've just basically been like, I've been flapping my gums and people have been like, typing their fingers. But so glad you could make it. Thank you. Welcome to the party. General Q&A tonight, but I do have a trivia game coming up. And we're up to 24 people. Isn't that rubbery? And Tug says, we scared the women off with our Roman Empire talk. If that's all it took. Emily says, I'm back. Emily, you were sorely missed. Unfortunately, you missed my Linda Blair story, so you'll have to watch it in replay. Because if I tell that story again, I'm going to get way behind it. Do you know what? I think I've already told you the story anyway. Ziplik says, so how it was Hurricane Lee T-Pawns? Was it a cool breeze? It was barely a cool breeze. The power did blink out once or twice. My mother told me she's a night owl. She was up. I was asleep. But virtually nothing. And Teb co-creating. I knew what you meant, Teb. No worries. And scrolling gently. A lot of people saying hello. Gary Carpenter says they're back. Daryl Jones says no. 257 says to Gary, okay. Emily Miller says to Daryl, big eyes, big eyes, big eyes. And Gary Carpenter says, there he goes again. There he goes again on my own. Wake Up says, is anyone like 45 commandments behind? I'm sorry, comments. Although when I tell them they're commandments. Let's see. David says, my favorite classic scary movie is Frankenstein, and my all-time favorite, Bride of Frankenstein. You can't go wrong with the Universals. You can't go wrong with the Universals. But I bet you can name my all-time favorite horror movie. And Danny says 44 now, LOL. And I just jumped again. Oh, I thought I was getting so good at that. Give me a second. I think I'm way more than 40 behind now. Ziblik says, I would watch anything with Linda Blair, including her bad movies. Oh, I like all Linda Blair's movies. And Linda says, no Lance, at least not that I know of. Gary Carpenter says, how about Repossessed? Pat is here. Says, greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Pat, so glad you could make it. Dominic D says, good story, thank you. Wake Up says, Zuper, don't watch Grotesque. Ew, sounds grotesque. Lance says, you did not say hi, Emily, that's all. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Emily. That's all. And Zuper says, especially Repossessed. Emily says, Repossessed was so much fun. Indy says, met Blair 25 years ago or so. She was a tiny thing. Yeah, no, she's a little bits. And that's about the same time I met her. Right around 99, 2000. So almost 25 years ago. A lot of people saying hi to Pat. Daryl Johnson says, go get the picture. I want to see it. It's in a Foot Locker in my garage with a bunch of my old collectibles that I keep under lock and key. I will tell you what I'll do. I will try to get it for my next show. But if I leave now, by the time I get back, I'll be wrapping things up. But hold that thought. I gotta redo the bridge anyway. John Doe says, I'll say it one more time, Thresh. I went to an Italian festival and met Curtis Silva, founder and CEO of New York Guardian Angels. I remember you told me that story. I remember that. I remember that. He was a cool dude. I remember. Have you ever seen the made-for-TV movie they made about him? By the way, it was I saw it like 40 years ago. It was a great movie though. But anyway, good catch. And Brogu says hi. The Golden Ridge of TV. A lot of people saying hi. Ziblik says I'll have to catch that one. Wake Up. Emily Miller says, Lance, when I say hey y'all, that includes everyone. Yeah, unfortunately, some people, their hellos get lost in the crowd. And Lance Chapin says, Emily Tracy was live 2 hours ago. She certainly was. Gary Carpenter says, I saw it once. Good. And I'll just see here. Scrolling very carefully. A lot of people saying hi to Melissa. Ellen says, well, dang, I missed it, Lance. And Pat, no dinner yet, Daryl. Oh, you must be hungry. I ate hours ago, and then I had to feed Mrs. Thrash. Well, I didn't have to feed her. It's just she's much nicer. Fed. Trust me on this one. Danny Staten's given us a link to Golden Ridge of TV. Thank you so much. Only257 says, wow, Dad, you must have jumped that rail by like 50 yards. Nothing to be proud of, Russ. 50 yards. Yes, the infamous getting lost in the desert scene in National Lampoon's Vacation. One of my all-time favorite comedies. And I'm sure I've told you this on multiple occasions. The daughter in the first movie, Miss Barron, her and I are distant cousins. Barron is Mama Thrash's maiden name, and apparently her and I are distant cousins. 50 yards. Nothing to be proud of, son. Emily says, I got here in time to hear how you embarrassed yourself, Bob. So, just in time. Oh, I'm always embarrassing myself. I've embarrassed myself tonight a couple times. Del John says, I didn't ask. Well, if I told you without you having to ask, then I have volunteered the information. Sorry, Daryl, if you and I are to step tonight. I'll try to be more in step. And let's just see. Teb says, Besides Cheers, what's your favorite TV show set in Boston? Saint Elsewhere. Loved, loved Saint Elsewhere. Mrs. Thrash gets mad at me because I say Saint Elsewhere is the best hospital TV show of all time. And of course, she is Team ER. Lance says, skip the trivia tonight, Thrash. Can't do it, bro. And Golden Rage of TV says, hey, you. And hey to you, too. Tom says, I'm still here. Excellent. But hang on, I just jumped again, so I'm going to try to catch up because, oh, here we are. 257 says, geek, anybody seen any cult movies? Oh, tons of them. My favorite horror movie is a cult film, Night of the Living Dead. Emily says, I don't keep up with the commandments. I'm sure you don't. Wake Up says, Boston Common was funny, but it didn't last long. No, but it was a great show. Azublik says, can't think of one, Terrell. Oh, come on, there have been plenty of shows set in Boston. Tug says, I am dying to know what he has to say about cryptids and baseball. Well, they're two separate listings. Melissa says, we dealt with Lee here in Maine. The power went out twice. Yeah, how badly hit were you in Maine, by the way? We were talking about that earlier. I heard parts of it got hit pretty bad. Pat says, Blair with a sweet lady. Tug says, Emily, life would be so boring, wouldn't it? And I'm just going to try to scroll very... And Zublex is interested in Melissa's plight with Hurricane Bob. Yeah, we didn't barely get scratched. We were fun. Gary Carver says, geek, they had a monster ball. I have that movie somewhere. And Dan says, I'm just knitting while I'm waiting for the trivia. Wait, I'm knit. And Ellen says, exactly, Tug. And I'm here to make sure life never gets boring. Keithy says, Hooper, you said you had mentioned Linda Blair being at the same party you were at Many be in New Hampshire during college. Where was the school to go to the party? There was a school to Plymouth State. Gary Carver says, to Lance, no, he won't in your dreams, Bob. And Emily says, Gary, have you ever been to the Mad Monster Ball? No, but I have that too. And Tom's still here. Lance likes Hell Night. I own Hell Night. It's great. Gary Cameron says, no, I haven't, but to Emily, but I've got the Mad Monster Party on DVD. Melissa says, it was Superplex, especially since we only had more rain and then wind. Oh, that's good, basically. Daryl Jones says, baseball cryptids. I'm fascinated by that concept. Make a baseball team out of cryptids. That would be awesome. In fact, that'd be a great game to play on Facebook or something. What cryptid would be good? Would Bigfoot be the pitcher and that type of thing? Alex says, has anyone hit the like button? Well, we're at 22 and 22, so I'm thinking we're pretty close. Danny says, Coastal Plains Baseball League, there is a team called the Boone Bigfoots. I just found that out. Someone mentioned that earlier. That's great. And Tracy says, anyone going to be haunted houses for Halloween? No, but across the street, they do it every year in Captain's Village. And Emily Miller says, Gary, I keep planning to go out, but life happens, and I have to skip. I'm sorry. Gary says, my favorite movie is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. I love that one. Even supposedly Costello hated doing it, but I loved it. I think it's a great movie. Tug says, that's why it could never be boring with you around M. And Steve says, useless factoid, the time since Johnny Carson left The Tonight Show is the same amount of time as the entire time he did the show. Time flies. You know what? You were absolutely, wow, that's amazing. Wow, that's crazy. And Tracy says, I think I wanted to celebrate the Day of the Dead. Big day in Mexico. And Daryl says, got some bums who didn't hit the like button. Actually, we're at 25 likes now and only 23 watching. So we're doing pretty good. Hopefully the two that left will come back. Tug says, I'm covering 3. Couldn't count them 3 Universal Cult Classic Monsters next month. Oh, 3. Count them 3. Count 1, 2, 3. 3 monstrous monsters. And I just jumped again. So I'm going to have to skip around a little bit. And I'm going to once I get to the bottom, I'm going to fly through these. Here we go. And Wake Up just says Chevy Chase does that delayed reaction humor a lot in the first Vacation. He certainly does. And Melissa says, Tuggy, if you ever get bored, just let me know. I'll comment something political or religious. Ooh, throw another go there. Gary Cameron says to DJ, who are you calling a bum? Dominic D says, St. Elton was a great show. I liked it better than ER or Grey's Anatomy. House of Alex says, I might go to a place called Tully's Shocktober Fest in my area this year, Tracy. Loads of haunted houses, haunted rides, and attractions. It sounds like fun. It says, over Ben Casey? Yes, over Ben Casey. I'm going to skip to... Oh, Sean Ennis is here. It says, hello all. Sorry for being late. No worries. We're actually... I'm actually trying to just keep up with what we've had, but it's always nice to have you back here with us. Awesome. And Indy Spout says to Gary Carpenter, check, which I think is a reference to the Gunslinger series. And only 257 says same. Pawns. A lot of people saying hi to Sean. I'm going to skip down really quickly. Boston Legal was on it. Yes, Boston Legal was set in Boston. A lot of people saying hello to each other. 257 says the popcorn you are eating has been pissed in. Film at 11. Kentucky Fried Movie or Groove Tube or whichever one Chevy Chase was. Yes, it was. It was the Groove Tube with that Chevy Chase. Yeah, and I think one of the two. Skipping through, trying to catch up. 207 says fish for dinner last night. Bob smoking those cigars again. Christ, did a cow shit in here. Sean says to Emily, it's good to see you. Melissa Foster says it was mostly down around the coast. I'm up here in the country. Ruse stuck, and we got some rain and wind. Hardly any damage on our property or trees. Awesome. That's so good to hear. Demity says House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price is a classic. It certainly is. Tug says there's so many cult movies. It's hard to narrow them down. He's going to go with Dark City. Pat says, speaking of scary movies, this just in, Dee Wallace will be making an encore appearance in Retro TV in October. That is awesome. Awesome. I can't tell you how great that is. I'm going to skim through these. Len says, I miss Pizza Hut's Bigfoot Pizza. And Lou says, Zuper, if he waltz much longer, he's going to have to cancel it. I wouldn't. Wake Up says, is the trivia about baseball? I'm over 5. Oh, I haven't started yet. Let me just skip down. Okay, horror films, black and white color. Tracy, I prefer black and white, but there are some good color ones as well. Pat says, haha, that went over like a Led Zeppelin. Nothing you say goes over like a Led Zeppelin. Kevin Scott 76 is here. Says, hey Thrash, just finished my son's 21st birthday party. Happy birthday to little Scott, who's now an adult. Skipping down. I'm just gonna. Elizabeth says, I wonder if Cassandra Peterson is going to the annual Halloween appearance at Knott's Berry Farm. Good question. And China says, Mork and Mindy was Boulder, Colorado, as I recall. It certainly was. And Jenny's giving us another link. And a lot of people saying having fellowship amongst themselves and saying hello and all that. Lance, to Amazon Women on the Moon. Lance, thank you. Thank you, Lance. And 257 says Pawns, favorite zombie flick. Tug says, Indy, I blew my mind in college, but college. Then I went sober. Indy says, this channel would be great place to host a trivia game, and I'm going to take the hint. Okay, I'm going to read one more. It's going to be Emily's. I'm going to read Emily's comment, and to 257, she says, I don't have a favorite flick, but my favorite zombie series was Z Nation. I actually like that one. I did like it. But I'm going to have to forego people's comments because you guys are actually getting antsy for the trivia game. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to do my trivia game, and then we'll pick up when I feel like it. But anyway, as always, I'm going to give them to you in no particular order. I will tell you the first half is going to be on cryptids. So Dan, be prepared. Okay, question 10. This all-time most famous Bigfoot footage was supposedly shot by whom? A. Pat Patterson, B. Claude Patterson, C. Roger Patterson, or D. Alexander Graham Bell Patterson. I shall repeat. This all-time most famous Bigfoot footage was shot by whom? A. Pat Patterson, B. Claude Patterson, C. Roger Patterson, or D. Alexander Graham Bell Patterson. And I know D is just way too tempting. It sounds right. But I'm going to give it a minute because people are still pouring in their answers. Oh, yeah. Gotcha, Indy. Oh, she's waiting for Danny. I wonder if Danny's going to post his answers. Danny, you're more than welcome to, but that could actually skew things. Yeah. Dominic D is laughing. Oh, Dan says Roger Rabbit. Alexander Graham Bell Patterson was a real person, but that's wrong. And Pat and Claude, as I'm sure Dan also knows, were both wrestlers. So the answer, of course, is Roger Patterson. Oh, and for a bonus, anybody know the name of the person he shot it with? Feel free to throw it in. Danny's like, yep. Whoever he shot the film with, if you want to throw that in there, you can give yourself an extra point. But anyway, that is question 10. And no, he did not shoot the film with Alec Baldwin, but there was another. It's known as the Patterson footage. He's listening and dealing with a dog. That's why he can't post his answers. Anyway, number 9. What famous U.S. nationalist claimed to have discovered hard proof of the existence of the Yeti? Was it A. Frank Buck, B. Clyde Beatty, C. Marlin Perkins, or D. Euell Gibbons? I shall repeat. What famous U.S. naturalist claimed to have discovered hard proof of the Yeti's existence? Was it A. Frank Buck, B. Clyde Beatty, C. Marlin Perkins, or D. Euell Gibbons? I'll give you guys a second. Doug says, I have no idea who those people are. Well, if I told you, that would kind of give the game away. B, because there's a sucker born every minute. I love it. I love it. Wow, a lot of people are saying Euell Gibbons. I'll give you guys another minute. A lot of you people like Wild Hickory Nuts. Dan says Walt Disney Matterhorn. Okay, the correct answer is actually C, Marlin Perkins. He accompanied Sir Hillary to a exposition. This is exposition when I tell you the story. An expedition to the Himalayas, and there was this Buddhist temple up there which had a hand that supposedly belonged to a Yeti, and Marlin Perkins stole it and smuggled it out of Tibet, breaking several international laws. Marlin Perkins, of course, was the naturalist who hosted Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, where he showed animals in their natural habitat. Frank Buck and Clyde Beatty also worked with animals. They were both in Africa Screams. Euell Gibbons liked Wild Hickory Nuts, so he did the Grape Nut commercials. But anyway, moving forward. Oh, and by the way, Gimlin. Gimlin was the guy who did the film with Patterson, but nobody seemed to care. Moving on to question 8. Danny Shane says they stole a Bigfoot finger. I think it was like more than one. I think it was like a partial hand. But yes, you are correct. Which of these movies is not a Bigfoot themed film? Is not. A, The Beast of Yucca Flats. C, The Legend of Boggy Creek. Did I say C? That was B. That was B. Legend of Boggy Creek. C, Creature from the Black Lake. Or D, Snow Beast. So if I have muddled the mix, we'll do this again. I'm going to repeat it. Which of these movies is not a Bigfoot themed film? A, The Beast of Yucca Flats. B, The Legend of Boggy Creek. C, The Creature from Black Lake. Or D, Snow Beast. And Luna says, was the Bigfoot still attached? No, it was just a hand. And it was examined in the States and was considered inconclusive. And a lot of you guys got this one. Guy in a gorilla suit. Yes. Yes, A, Beast of Yucca Flats is not. The other three are. And again, Danny's playing his hand very close to his chest. Question 7. Famed New England lake monster is affectionately referred to as what? A, Mishipishu. B, Champ. C, Ogopogo. Or D, Flessy. Dan not playing this one close to his chest. Ted Kennedy, really? Too soon. That was funny, but I feel so guilty for laughing. I shall repeat. Famed New England lake monster is affectionately referred to as what? A, Mishipishu. B, Champ. C, Ogopogo. Or D, Flessy. Oh no, I'm buffering? B is for buffering. I'm so sorry if I'm buffering. Emily says, did anyone else just experience buffering? Uh-oh. Apparently it's not just the other side of the pond. Sean says, no, Ted Kennedy was K lane for offshore drilling. Really? I did not know. But anyway, hopefully I'm taking Anison for the buffering. I was I knew there was a joke in there. Buffering for buffering, but yes. Oh, but anyway, Champ. Yes, Champ was the name of the famous New England lake monster from Lake Champlain on the Vermont-New York border. This one's my favorite. And after this, we'll get scores. Famous shark-themed New England sea monster is more commonly referred to as what? A, Megalodon. B, Fin Folk. C, Komahomalahi. Or D, the Cape Cod shark god. I shall repeat. Famous shark-themed New England sea monster is more commonly referred to as what? A, Megalodon. B, Fin Folk. C, Komahomalahi. Or D, the Cape Cod shark god. Zublik's got a shark suit. That's a good one. Tug says, what? I guess D, because why not? It's a good guess, but it's wrong. D, the Cape Cod shark god. Story about cult, and when the sharks started coming back, it was a sign. But anyway, yes, supposedly there's a huge, like Jaws would be its pup, like a huge megalon style great white off the coast of Cape Cod. But I will have to do that as another post. But anyway, moving forward. So the correct answer on that one is D. So we got some scores coming in already. Alex is 3 of 5. Zoop only is 2 of 5. Doug says, wait, I got it right? Yes, you did. Usually when I ask a Cape Cod question, the answer is Cape Cod. Or more importantly, if I ask a question and one of the choices is Cape Cod, because I'm talking about Cape Cod. I don't know why. Keithy says 3 out of 5, but I should get extra credit for Marlon Yee, Jim Fowler, get that snake. Oh, the Marlon, yes, Marlon Perkins. Okay, yes, I will give you an extra credit. Tug is 3 of 5. Emily says Meg was a good movie. Dominic D is 2 of 5. Tracy was 3 of 5. Gary Carpenter is 4 of 5. John H., who is here, who has been keeping his presence unknown, is 0 of 5. Just joined. Oh, we'll take it in absentia. Lisa Field says, hi, everybody. Lost track of time. No worries. You're on time to play the second half of the trivia game. Play the first half and replay. Indy Spout says, is anyone else trailing behind about 5 to 7 seconds? And his score is 5 of 5. Quite possibly. I think I might be having something of a lag. Sean Innes is 2 of 5, but I'm guessing on everything. Daryl is 3 of 5. Melissa's 1 of 5. Teb is 3 of 5. Danny, we haven't seen your score. You have to tell us what your score is. 3 of 5 for Teb. And I don't know, a Van Pitchy, I don't know. Oh, and I'm buffering. Oh, buffering. Okay, I'm going to give it a second before I start the second half if I'm buffering. Tug says, uh-oh, not again. Only 257 says buffering. Buffering brown sugar. Don't know. Wake Up says the last 5 questions should be a ball. Zublik says Alka-Seltzer this time. We're going to continue with the over-the-counter pain reliever. Am I still buffering, gang? If the buffering has subsided, I'll start. Yeah, only 257 got that one. Danny says, oh, I know. Emily says, I won't say it's the aliens, but it's probably the aliens. Daryl John says, and no singing. One day, lad, all this will be yours. What, the curtains? And no singing. Jubilee says, nope. Oh, Johnny says, no buffering here. Good. No buffering here, says Emily. 257 says, John buffered. Fine here, says Gary. Indy says, timing this response, Bob. To see how far back you are. But no, Melissa says, no buffering. And Dan says, a Dracula fish is a cape. Oh, I get it, the cape. Cape Cod. I get it, because it wears a cape. And we have some nice emojis from Only, and Lisa says no buffering. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. And remember, this is going to be baseball related. I hope you're all Red Sox fans. So, and I have them backwards. Here we go. No, that's not either. Give me I didn't do something stupid, did I? Oh, yes, here we are. I had one of the cards inverted. No worries. Okay, what famous ball player cursed the Red Sox, supposedly causing their 85-plus year World Series drought? Was it A, Lou Gehrig, B, Babe Ruth, C, Joe DiMaggio, or D, Sandy Koufax? I shall repeat. What famous ball player cursed the Boston Red Sox, supposedly causing their 85-plus year World Series drought? A, Lou Gehrig, B, Babe Ruth, C, Joe DiMaggio, or D, Sandy Koufax? And at a glance, it looks like you all got it. Yes, Babe Ruth. It's a great story. But it's called here in New England, The Curse of the Bambino. Okay, number 4. What was iconic Red Sox ball player Ted Williams' vocation during his years of military service? A, aviator, B, CB, C. Tunnel rat. D. Code breaker. I shall repeat. What was iconic Red Sox ball player Ted Williams' vocation during his years of military service? A. Aviator. B. CB. C. Tunnel rat. Or D. Code breaker. Groundskeeper? Ooh, Indy. Yes, I knew that. Ball player. Yes, he played ball for the military. Johnny says, I know his son wanted to put him on ice. Danny says, I haven't seen a ball game since the 80s. Oh, Big Guys 45 is here. Hi, Big Guys. And Elizabeth Field says, I won't pretend to know. So anyway, I will give the answer. The answer is A, aviator. He flew for both the Navy and the Marines at one point. But yes, he was an aviator. Oh, and thank you, Jenny, for the links. Number 3. The Red Sox famous mascot is affectionately referred to as what? A, the Red Bear. B, the Orange Man. C, the White Bulger. Or D, the Green Monster. So because Marine Corps pilot. Actually, when he first started, he actually flew for the Navy. But of course, the Marines, Navy were kind of, at that time, working together with things. We'll still do in many ways. Gary Cameron says there's been sharks on Scooby-Doo. There have been 2 sharks on Scooby-Doo. I shall repeat. Red Sox famous mascot is affectionately referred to as what? A, Red Bear. B, Orange Man. C, the White Bulger. Or D, the Green Monster. Ooh, Indy for the win. And Emily says, why does a team that's red have a green mascot? Because that lump on Fenway Park, during the center field, the ground kind of rises. So when the guy has to run to get the ball, he has to run uphill, and that patch is called the Green Monster. So after years of calling that the Green Monster, we made our mascot the Green Monster. Probably has a lot to do with the large Irish community we have in Boston as well. But anyway, yes. And Indy's right. It was called Wally. Wally the Green Monster because it's up against the wall. Get it? Let's. Oh, and Big Guy says, bye, concert time. Well, thanks for stopping in, Guy. So good to see you. I'm going to press on with my questions. Question 2. This film's ending had to be reshot because of the Red Sox finally breaking their 85-plus year World Series drought. Was it A, summer catch, B, bench warmers, C, fever pitch, or D, Airbud 4, 7th inning fetch? I shall repeat. This film's ending had to be reshot because of the Red Sox finally breaking their 85-plus year World Series drought. Was it A, summer catch, B, bench warmers, C, fever pitch, or D, Airbud 4, the 7th inning fetch? Give you guys one more second on this one. A lot of you seem to get it. Oh, Emma says D because dog. A lot of people are going with dog. It's actually one more second to see if anyone's going to respond. I should get a timer like Dave does, but I like mine just sort of arbitrary deciding when I'm going to blurt out the answer. It was actually fever pitch. The original ending was they survive as a couple, but the Red Sox lose. And like Red Sox fans have been doing for decades at that point, trust me, I remember. They just sort of carry on. They persevere. As we said for years, there's always next year. There's always next year. Indy's about says timer envy thrash. And the number one question is longtime Cuban politician Fidel Castro actually tried out for what MLB team? Was it A, the Boston Red Sox, B, the Cincinnati Reds, C, the Washington Senators, or D, the Miami Marlins? I shall repeat. Longtime Cuban politician Fidel Castro actually tried out for this Major League Baseball team. A, the Boston Red Sox, B, the Cincinnati Reds, C, the Washington Senators, or D, the Miami Marlins. A lot of people are going with red because of the whole, communist thing. And, Marlins does make sense because, well, the Miami evacuation, where many of the Cuban nationals ended up in Miami when they tried to flee. But no, actually, it was the Washington Senators. C. But don't be sad, folks. Pawns has a bonus question. So you may add this before I get scores. Add this to the pile. Wake Up says Golden Girls into there too. Certainly did. 257 said hard questions. I'm very sorry. I should really try to make them easier. So anyway, before I get scores, we have this bonus. Okay. What brand of hot dog is associated with the Boston Red Sox? Is it A, Fenway Franks, B, Red Sox Red Hots, C, World Series Wieners, or D, MLB's Worst? I shall repeat. What brand of hot dog is associated with the Boston Red Sox? A, Fenway Franks, B, Red Sox Red Hots, C, World Series Wieners, or D, MLB's Worst? A lot of you saying D. I said it more for emphasis, for humor, as a giveaway, as a tell, but to own their each. Wake Up says bar S. Sorry. Indy Spout says good old Fenway Franks. Doug says a red hot flavored dog. Oh my God, Nostalgic Podblast is here. He says hi. Podblast, we're just about to wrap things up. Sorry, but it's so great you can see that you're here. He actually just did a great podcast on 80s crushes. I started watching it. I had to step away because, well, day just got away from me. But I'm definitely going to go back and finish it at my earliest convenience. And Dan, if you could please give us a link to Nostalgic Pod Blast site. Oh, hey, Blaster, I love it. Gary Carver says, hey there, I've tried turkey hot dogs, and they're pretty good. They are pretty good. I love turkey hot dogs. When I diet, which is I'm actually about to go back on a diet. When I diet, they tend to be very low cal, so I eat them a lot actually. You just got to eat them with mustard. They're not very good with ketchup. Wake Up says Fenway Franks $9.50. Ouch. Emily says the only thing I know about the Boston Red Sox is they are from Boston. Well, that's a thing. That's a fact. That counts. Doug says, I didn't even know that for sure. Daryl John says, stay on target, Bob. I feel like in Star Wars, stay on target. Stay on target. Oh, in other words, answer the damn question. In this case, I'm sorry. A, Fenway Franks. A, Fenway Franks. I'm sorry. Well, just the thread became so interesting. I know I had an ADHD moment. Remember, if you don't think you have ADHD, then you're not paying attention. Paying attention. We have fun. Pablo says top selling wall poster was Heather Thomas, not Farrah. Heather tells me that herself on the Podblast. I believe it. I think not only did I have that poster, I think I still remember that Foot Locker I was telling you with Linda Blair, her 8x10 black and white glossy. I think I still have that Heather Thomas poster. From when I was 13 is when I bought that. give or take. Oh, scores. Yes, scores. Zuplex is 11, 6 for 11. Make it 10. Make it 10. A bonus is just that. Tug is 5 of 11. Tracy's 8 for 11. 8 for 10, rather. I'm sorry. Daryl Johnson says, all right, 8 of 10. Sean is 4 of 10, but I got an extra point, 5 of 10. Melissa's 4 of 10. Zuplex says, I would buy a Heather Thomas poster. Like I said, we all had that poster back in the day. Tug is 5 of 10 then. 5 of 10 then. House of Alex is 7 of 10. Excellent, excellent. And Indy, I know what your score is, but read it to the record, pal. And Zuplex says, pay more if she showed. Dude. Superplex, your dirty old man is showing. And I should go to the business, right? I just heard this recently. One night, either she or a neighbor heard someone like rummaging around. They caught this dude in back of her house with a knife and a rope. He was going to abduct her. And she just said, that's it, I'm out. That's it, I'm out. Hollywood is becoming too dangerous for her because of all the colossal pervs. Not that there aren't colossal pervs everywhere else in the world. Wake Up says, who the blank is Heather Thomas. She's probably best known. She was in a TV show called The Fall Guy with Lee Majors. Ironically, when Lee Majors was setting up to do The Fall Guy, originally the woman was supposed to be his wife, Farrah Fawcett. They were going to be like a bounty hunter team, much like Dog the Bounty Hunter years later. But they split up before the show could be green lit. So by the time the show went on, they needed somebody else. So another beautiful young blonde did it, and she ended up getting her own poster. Teb says 8 of 10 plus 11 is 9/11. Ooh, crazy. But anyway, answer your question. That's who Heather Thomas is. Zublik says, Tug says to Zublik, then take a shower. Oh my God, Sarah, from My Flock is Everywhere is here. Dan, please give My Flock a link on our channel. And Sarah, so awesome to see you again. And Indy says, I posted above. Oh, I'm sorry, man, I missed it. I must have been pontificating. 11 of 11 if I actually wait for the answer option. And Podblast says, Heather Thomas is a retired actress and author. She co-starred in Fall Guy on TV and in the rated R movie Zapped, among many other roles. Yes, she was in Zapped. She was amazing. I had such a crush on her when I was a kid. John H. says Farrah was in the song title. She certainly was. She certainly was. I've been seen with Farrah. Yes. Wake Up says, okay, sorry, I was confusing her with Heather Locklear. You must know this story. Okay, I got to tell this story. I know we don't have much time left, and I'm probably going to miss a comment, and I apologize in advance, but this is a true story. So Tommy Lee, pig that he is, Tommy Lee is watching TV, and he sees this incredibly beautiful woman who he decides he has to go on a date with. So he has one of his flunkies says, yeah, that Heather on TV, I want to go on a date with her. Get me your number. I want to talk to her. I'll charm her. I'll get her to go on a date with me. And the flunky does it, but he thinks the hot blonde that he's referring to is Heather Locklear from TJ Hooker, who, again, beautiful woman. And he calls her up, and I guess he could be charming. I don't see it. But maybe 40 years ago before all the drugs. But anyway, so he's on the phone with Heather Locklear, and he's having a wonderful conversation, and he's charming her, and she's gobbling it up, and they're really hitting it off and having a wonderful rapport. And I guess he was channel surfing on TV while he was talking to her. And he goes, oh, wait, you're on TV right now. And she's like, no, I'm not. Because at the time, she was only doing TJ Hooker. She was also doing Dynasty. And she knew what nights her shows were on. So she goes, no, I'm not. And he goes, no, yeah, I see you right there. And she's like, what am I wearing? And he goes, well, that bikini, And she's like, that's Heather Thomas. You're watching The Fall Guy. He goes, yeah, The Fall Guy. That's not you? And she's like, no, no, no. Who are you? I'm Heather Locklear from TJ Hooker. Oh, okay. You still want to go out? The rest is tragic history. John H. says there was a credit at the end of Zapp's stating that Heather Thomas did not do her own scenes. I hated Zapped. I thought it was embarrassment to everyone involved. It was a terrible, horrible, horrible movie. They were doing a ripoff of Carrie, right? They were doing a ripoff of Carrie and a comedy, and they missed it. I mean, how could you fail so monumentally when you had such great source material? I don't get it. I'm gonna have to scroll some of these comments because we're about to wrap things up. Anywho, but I just want to say, Gary Garber says Thomas over Locklear. There's no wrong answer. There really isn't. If I had to choose, I would choose Heather Thomas. But again, there's no wrong answer. Ziblik says Locklear is the girl your mother wants you to date, while Thomas is the girl you want to date. My mother wouldn't want me dating either one of them. The Shickses. Only 257 says Pod Blast. The ending of Zap stunk. The whole movie stunk. That Heather Lamas. Oh, Lorenzo Lamas. Oh, imagine if you got Heather Thomas together with Lorenzo Lamas. Thomas and Lamas. Think of all the dramas. That's the best I can do on such short notice. Anyway, I'm starting to get a little bleary-eyed, so I'm going to have to wrap things up here. I want to thank you. You guys were amazingly interactive and supportive tonight, by the way, and it was just great. When it gets to the point where you guys are giving me so many comments that I have to go into the trivia game late, so late that you guys start hinting that you really want to get to the trivia, I mean, that's amazing. And I mean, that's great. The fact that you guys can give me that much material to work with. I want to thank each and every one of you. Don't know what the theme of next week's trivia is. I keep thinking I'm making the trivia questions easier and easier. Apparently, no. I think if anything, I made them harder. Although Indy is my acid test that the questions are doable. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for your input, for your fellowship, for your interaction, for putting up with my trivia, and just being here. Oh, and by the way, before history rolls over, again, I just want to say, well, as you know, I was very, very, very concerned when Hurricane Lee was moving in. I was trying not to sound like the harbinger of death, but I remember when Hurricane Bob, ironically, yeah, no Bob. I remember when Hurricane Bob hit Cape Cod back in 91, and we were devastated, like really bad, like 500,000 down trees, 500,000 with an M. Going to bed by candlelight, eating canned ravioli out of the can. Around day 4, when the water pressure started to drop, that's when there was trouble in paradise. But and someday I will tell you my birthday steak tip story, but that was going to have to keep. Maybe I'll start with that next week. But anyway, Hurricane Bob really, really spanked us. So I was kind of worried with Lee because Hurricane Bob, well, when it hit Rhode Island, it was a 2. It had wound down to a 1. It was a high 1. But that devastated us. A Category 3 would have been really bad. And you guys were so concerned, so supportive. I saw that in the comments. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being so concerned about me, Mrs. Thrash, Mama Thrash, and all the little Thrashlings. You guys are aces. And I promise you, if any of you are about to be hit with a natural disaster, I will be equally concerned. Tracy, you can attest to that. So, anywho, I have rambled long enough, but again, I really want you guys to know just how much I appreciate you all. And Emily says, even the Piedmont and foothills of North Carolina have been hit with strong hurricane. I'm still waiting for the next one. It's funny you mentioned that. After Hurricane Bob, my plan to set out the next one was my mother used to joke, Mama Thrash, she'd say, we should go to maybe Worcester or somewhere like that. I go, no, I'm thinking Vermont. I was like way, way into the hills. The last two nasty hurricanes, or two of the most nasty hurricanes, I should say, that New England's gotten over the last few years, have somehow managed to go up Vermont. They go up like the Connecticut River Valley. They get into Vermont and they wreak havoc, and Vermont is just not prepared to deal with hurricanes. So it just shows to go, yo. But anyway, Odell Jones says I share his birthday and she shares his death day. Well, happy birthday to whomever we are sharing. Anyway, a lot of people are saying bye, and you know what? Only 257. Bye to you. Thank you for staying as long as you did. All you people who made it this far, thank you. All you people who already left, well, I'll say goodbye to you anyway. But anyway, I do have new content I'll be posting at some point this week. I'm not sure when. And there definitely is going to be another show next Sunday. No show tomorrow night, guys. I'm sorry. Mondays have just been a little tricky for me the last couple of weeks. So I might do another Monday show next week, but no show scheduled for tomorrow night. Sorry. But anyway, so until next Sunday, watch our new content, and you know the drill. Be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.